صلوات على محمد وآل محمد وما صلي على محمد وآل Muhammad. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. The time is now 6:33 and we will begin our program this evening. Today marks the 15th of Zafar in the year of 1447 after Hijri, and inshallah over the next several evenings we will have a series of majalis in commemoration of Arbaeen. Our program tonight will be led by the recitation of the Noble Quran by our young brother Zafar Naqvi. This will be followed by our youth presenter by brother H.I Sayyid, and then this will be followed by Salam and Marcia by brother H.I Sayyid. Tonight's majlis will be addressed by our guest scholar Hujjatul Islam Sayyid Zafar Abbas Naqvi. At this time we will begin our program. I would like to request our young reciter, brother Zafar Naqvi, to please come forward at this time for his recitation of the Noble Quran. Let us welcome him with a loud salawat.
صلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت. يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك في أي صورة ما شاء ركبك. كلا بل تكذبون بالدين وإن عليكم لحافظين كرام كاتبين يعلمون ما تفعلون. إن الأبرار لفي نعيم وإن الفجار لفي جحيم يصلونها يوم الدين وما هم عنها بغائبين. وما أدراك ما يوم الدين ثم ما أدراك ما يوم الدين يوم لا تملك لنفس شيئا والأمر يومئذ لله. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
MashaAllah, Bakir. That was a very, very good recitation. MashaAllah, for his Sayyid Islam, his Khair al-Barakat, for his parents and for his teachers. Let us all recite a loud salawat. وما صلي على محمد وآل Muhammad. Our next segment is the youth presentation. I would like to request our young speaker, brother H.I Sayyid, to please come forward at this time. Let's welcome him with a very loud and encouraging salawat.
Assalamu alaikum, respected elders, brothers and sisters. Today, I'm talking about a few lessons we can learn from Karbala. You should stand up for yourself, and you should stand up for what is right. You should stand up for the truth and for justice. Even though Imam Hussain alayhi salam had a few people on his side, and Yazid army had thousands of people, he did not give up. Always speak for the truth. Imam Hussain alayhi salam never lied, even when it was hard. He told the truth and stood for what was right. We should always be honest at home, at school, and with friends. He teaches us to say no to bullying and unfairness. Be brave and strong. Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his family were very brave. Like Hazrat Ali Asghar and Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam, they showed courage, and we should be brave in facing challenges and love and respect our family. Imam Hussain alayhi salam loves his family very much. He cared for them and respected them. We should always be kind and loving to our parents, siblings, and grandparents. Never give up. Even when things got very hard for Imam Hussain alayhi salam, never gave up. He kept going because he believed in Allah. This teaches us to keep trying when we fail. So dear friend, let's try to be like Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Let's be truthful, brave, and kind. Let's stand for what was right, even when it's hard. Thank you, Yasin.
Jazakallah taha, that was a wonderful speech. MashaAllah, you will have many years more ahead of you, and inshallah we'll get to hear more speeches from you, inshallah. For his Sehat and Salamti and Khair Barakat, for his parents, and for his teachers as well, let us all recite a very loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, before we continue tonight's program, I'd like to share some important community announcements. Firstly, as you know, we are approaching Arbaeen, and as we do every year, the Arbaeen procession, the Jalus, is being hosted again in downtown Chicago. This will be on Sunday, August 10th, 2025, beginning at 9:45 a.m. at the Daily Center. The congregation is encouraged to participate. Secondly, the Baitul Ilm Sunday School Academy is hosting its annual Arbaeen food drive. We are collecting all non-perishable food and personal hygiene items. Inshallah, you can drop your donations in the boxes by the main entrance, and for more information, please email sundayschool@baitulilm.org. Third, Baitul Ilm Sunday School will be starting in August. Registration for the 2025-2026 school year is open for children aged 2 to 15. Please go to the Baitul Ilm website to register if you haven't, and if you have any questions, please email the administration at sundayschool@baitulilm.org. Additionally, in these final weeks, the Baitul Ilm continues to host the Ladies Muharram Majalis through August 30th. The Majalis takes place here at Baitul Ilm on Saturdays at 11 a.m. and this year's topic has been the Prophets and Imam Hussain alayhi salam, guiding lights for every time and every place. The community is encouraged to bring their daughters and encourage other sisters to attend these Majalis. At this time, let's continue with the program with the Salam and Marsiya. I would like to request Brother Zafar Sayyid to please come forward at this time. Let's welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. recite a short salam first. Some of you may know this. This is something that Nasir Jahan had recited a long time ago. And the poet's name is Ali Raza, which I'm not sure that's what I found, but that was given as the poet's name. So help me with another salawat, please. دل کی زینت درد حسینی سر کی زینت پائے حسین دل کی زینت درد حسینی سر کی زینت پائے حسین آنکھ کی زینت خالص آنسو لب کی زینت آئے حسین آنکھ کی زینت خالص آنسو لب کی زینت ہائے حسین در سے حسینی اللہ اللہ یوں نہ سمجھ میں آ جائے در سے حسینی اللہ اللہ یوں نہ سمجھ میں آ جائے اپنے خدا کی جس عظمت کو سر دے کر سمجھائے حسین دل کے عزاداروں سے پوچھو غم کی لذت غم پر ناز دل کے عزاداروں سے پوچھو غم کی لذت غم پر ناز سب کو دعوت ہر دم چرچا گھر میں ہمارے آئے حسین سب کو دعوت ہر دم چرچا گھر میں ہمارے آئے حسین دل کی زینت درد حسینی سر کی زینت پائے حسین آنکھ کی زینت خالص آنسو لب کی زینت ہائے حسین صلوات اللہ محمد وعلی محمد Next will be a Marcia, because it's the occasion closer to Chelum. Thought I'd recite something that describes or depicts the battle of Imam Hussain. The poetry is rather graphic and gruesome, but it tells you the intensity of the battle. Before we do that, let us recite a mercy, a Fatiha, please. اور محمد والی محمد صلوات. One more salawat, please. غریب زہرا کی غربت سنو اے اہل عزا. غریب زہرا کی غربت سنو اے اہل عزا. اکیلا رہ گیا مقتل میں جب میرا مولا. سپاہ شام نے چاروں طرف سے گھیر لیا. لب فرات تھا پر ہر ایک خون کا پیاسا. تھا گل چراغ امامہ ابھی بجھانا ہے. زمین پہ زین سے شبیر کو گرانا ہے. یہ سن کے سنگ کسی نے جبین پر مارا. کسی نے پہلو میں برچھی کا پھل اتار دیا. کسی نے سامنے آ کر چلائی تیغ جفا. غریب زہر کا زی پر سنبھلنا مشکل تھا. علی و زہرا کو رن میں رلایا جاتا تھا. حسین گرتے نہیں تھے گرایا جاتا تھا. حسین گرتے نہیں تھے گرایا جاتا تھا. لگا جو تیر تو اصغر کو شہر نے یاد کیا، پکارا غازی کو جس وقت سر پہ گرز لگا، لگی جو برچھی تو اکبر کو دی تڑپ کے صدا، تماچا خولی نے مارا تو بولے یا زہرا، علی کو یاد کیا سر پہ ضرب چلتے ہوئے، حسن کو یاد کیا منہ سے خون اگلتے ہوئے، زمین سے زین پہ حضرت جو منہ کے بل آئے، جو تیر سینے میں تھے پشت سے نکل آئے، نکل کے پہلو سے سب برچھیوں کے پھل آئے، قرار کے اس طرح اب شے کو ایک پل آئے، رکاب پیروں سے ابن علی کی چھوٹ گئی، تمام پسلیاں سبتے نبی کی ٹوٹ گئیں، رقم کیا ہے یہ راوی نے درد کا منظر، کہ چلنے والا تھا جس دم حسین پر خنجر، بہن سے آگے کھڑی تھی حسین کی دختر، کہا یہ شمر سے اس دم غریب نے رو کر، میری سکینہ کہیں دم نہ توڑ دے ظالم، تو رحم کر मेरे बालों को छोड़ दे जालिम तू रहम कर मेरे बालों को छोड़ दे जालिम गरीब ज़हरा की सलावत अला मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद।
Jazakallah Jafar Bhai. For his Sehat and Salamti and Khair wa Barakat, let us all recite a very loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Respected Maulana, brothers and sisters, at this time, I would like to recognize our sponsors for tonight's program. For the health, safety, and continued blessings, for the families of Brother Muhammad Haidar and Sister Shanaz Khan, please join me in reciting a loud salawat for them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The sponsoring families have requested that you remember the marhumeen of your families as well as the marhumeen of their families. In particular, all of the marhumeen of the Muhammad Haidar family, as well as Ali Muhammad Nurani, Akbar Ali Nurani, Daulat Nurani, Jannah Bai Nurani, Sadruddin Dhanji, Kulsum Dhanji, Ghulam Hussain Muhammad Ali, and Shireen Ghulam Hussain. Please join me now in reciting a Surah Fatiha, preceded by a Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, one final reminder, if you please wouldn't mind double checking your cell phones to ensure that they are on mute or at the very least on vibrate. Now before I welcome our guest Alim to address all of us, please allow me to properly introduce him to you. Hujjatul Islam Sayyid Zafar Abbas Naqvi was born and raised in London, UK, and has a background in politics, history, South Asian studies, and international relations, culminating in a master's degree from the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London. He started his decade-long Hausa studies in London and then moved to Najaf, Iraq for further Hausa studies. Sayyid has lectured in over 15 countries, including the UK, US, France, Germany, Canada, Australia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Pakistan. He has served as a resident alim in Reading, Newcastle, and Birmingham, and he is currently the Welfare Secretary of Majalis Ulama Shia Europe, the continent's largest umbrella organization for Shia scholars and communities, and continues to teach and lecture worldwide. We are especially grateful to have Sayyid be with us over the next several days to commemorate Arbaeen. With that, it is my esteemed privilege to request Hujjatul Islam Sayyid Zafar Abbas Naqvi to please come to the minbar at this time. Let us all stand and move forward as we welcome him with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. As much as
رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب إله العالمين المخاطب بطه وياسين الذين سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتخبين المنتجبين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم ومنكر فضائلهم ومصائبهم وغاصبي حقوقهم أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه ومتقن خطابه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط وأنزلنا الحديد فيه بأس شديد ومنافع للناس وليعلم الله من ينصره ورسله بالغيب إن الله قوي عزيز. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. For the acceptance of our majlis, recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And to hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam, recite a third loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. وعجل فرجه. I will also begin by extending my gratitude to Hujjatul Islam wal Muslimin Maulana Amir Mukhtar Faizi Sahab Qibla and to the management for honoring me with this invitation to be with you on these auspicious and important nights. Inshallah, we will be together for 6 days during which we will have 7 lectures, and the ayat of the Holy Quran which I have selected for our discussion over these 7 lectures is from Suratul Hadid. Suratul Hadid is chapter number 57 of the Holy Quran, and the verse is verse number 25. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discusses a number of important things and important concepts that are important for a person, a believer, one who reads the Holy Quran, to reflect on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse tells us about the reason for sending the messengers and the tools that have been given to the messengers in order to fulfill this reason and purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. He says that certainly we have sent the messengers with clear proofs, with signs, and we have revealed the book and the scales unto them. And we have also revealed the iron, and the characteristic of this iron is that it is strong and it has benefits in it for the people. And through this we want to see who is it that will help Allah and His messengers in open and in secret, and you should know that Allah is strong and He is the one possessing honor. This is the translation of this holy verse. Of course, each and every aspect of the verse deserves and requires lots of time and attention, but I'm going to restrict our discussions, inshallah, to one particular word in this verse, and that is because this is extremely relevant to our lives and our time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we sent the messengers with clear proofs, that is referring to miracles, the way that messengers are recognized, and we sent them with the book وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانَ. Kitab here, of course, doesn't refer to kitab, book, in the way that we understand books to be, but rather it's a reference to revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals, inspires His messengers, and that is what makes them distinct from all other people. Wal mizan, and scales. Nowadays we are left with the pictures of scales because nobody uses those old school scales anymore, but we have the pictures where, in the old days, I'm still old enough to remember, in the old days we used to have put the weight on one side and whatever you're measuring on the other side, because we didn't have digital. Now, of course, it's just left to the pictures and for people to figure out, maybe in the museums. But nevertheless, scales are very important because scales imply balance in a person's life. And inshallah, that's going to be the topic of our discussion. That deen, religion, Islam, Shariat has been revealed unto the Prophet in order to establish balance in our lives. Balance from various different aspects. Today, in introduction to our topic, of course we need balance in every single aspect of our lives, and we'll refer to some of those different aspects on each of the days. Today, of course, we want to refer to balance in the most important thing. That is, of course, our beliefs, our aqaid, our usul al-din. There is in each and every one of the beliefs a possibility for a person to fall short, or a person to go past that which is necessary. Maybe sometimes these words are misused, so people might not take them seriously, but of course they are words that have been used by A'immah alayhimu salatu wasalam in the narrations. Of course, just because a word or a term gets misused doesn't mean that that term is incorrect. It just means that the person using it is not using it in the correct way. But the term itself is correct, and it is in the narrations from A'immah alayhimu salatu wasalam. That a person who falls short, that person is doing taqseer, and the person who goes ahead, that person is doing ghulu. Each of these are extremes that are not acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Neither taqseer or no ghulu. But rather a person has to establish balance in their lives when it comes to their beliefs. How is that going to be achieved, or how does that get achieved with regards to beliefs? So we start, of course, with the most important belief of all, and that is belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's possible, for example, when we talk about taqseer and ghulu, people go to the belief in imamat. But before we reach imamat, there is taqseer and ghulu even in tawheed as well. Not just in imamat, but even in tawheed. So how is that possible? Is that even possible for a person to fall short when it comes to Tawheed or go ahead when it comes to Tawheed? Yes, the answer is yes. And of course, Islam, the messengers have been sent in order to save people from each of these extremities. So we have two kinds of beliefs, and both of those beliefs existed in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and they also exist today. So it's relevant to our lives. One belief, or lack of belief if you like, is that, which is the majority of, unfortunately nowadays, that they reject the existence of God altogether. They say, or they state, or they give their reasons why they don't believe in God. Even though, of course, I remember when I began studying, one of our teachers used to say that you should know that the easiest belief to prove is the existence of God. And I remember at that time, 20 years ago, when he said this to me, I thought to myself that, what is he talking about? This is the easiest belief to prove. We have to give all these evidences and proofs and so on and so forth to prove that God exists. And he's telling me that the easiest belief to prove is the belief in God. He says, yes, it's the easiest belief to prove. The problem is that this was in every single person's fitrat and within their innate nature to believe in God. Because for everything else, even if I don't know who made something, there's all these things in front of me, the microphone, mimbar, stage, chairs, tables, all of these things are here. I've come here for example, the first time to read Majalis. So I don't know who made these things, but if I came here and told you that's this table, this chair, this podium, this mic, this mimbar, it came into existence by itself, you're going to say that this doesn't make any sense. But when a person says that about the universe, then people say, yes, this person is very enlightened because they don't believe in God, or they rejected the existence of God. So of course these people existed in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and they exist today. That person is the one who rejects the existence of God altogether. And of course there are reasons for it, but the underlying reason behind, or the real reason behind that, is an escape from responsibility. That if I reject the existence of God, then the next step will be then I can live my life the way that I want to live. I'll have no restrictions in my life, nobody to tell me what to do, nobody to say this is right and wrong. I will just do whatever I want. So we'll come to that, inshallah. One of the nights we'll talk about rights and responsibilities and how that relates to, and how there needs to be balance in that as well. But inshallah, just as an introduction. So that's one belief that existed in the time of the Prophet and also in our own time. Diametrically opposed to this belief was the belief that existed at that time and even up to today, but there has been a slight difference in the manifestation of this belief. That belief is almost the same. Those who denied the existence of God in those days and now, they more or less are the same. This belief on this side, the Ghali, when it comes to Tawheed, they are slightly different. In the time of the Prophet, or before the time of the Prophet, there were people who believed in multiple gods. We know, for example, they kept 360 idols in the Kaaba. And in various other places, multiplicity of deities existed. For example, in Hindu cultures, in other Eastern religious beliefs, they believed in multiple gods. So in reality, in the istilah of aqaid, we call that belief, the denial of the existence of God, to be kufr, and this belief to be shirk, that a person believes in multiple gods. But in reality, if we Of course, these are the terms that we use, kufr and shirk. But in reality, if we look at it in the lens of tawazun, in the lens of balance, then that person has fallen short when it came to tawheed. And that person has gone ahead when it came to believing one God. So in reality, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came and he announced the message of Islam. So he said, the first sentence that he said, the first statement that he said was, قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ تُفْلِحُوا. Say La ilaha illallah and you will be successful. What does this mean? It says that in reality this is not the kalima, this is teaching us balance when it comes to tawheed. That La ilaha was a rejection of all those false gods that people used to believe in. La ilaha was the rejection of all those shirk beliefs that they had. She said, no, reject, we have to deny all of these gods that you all made. They used to make, when we used to hear or read about this when we were young, we used to laugh at this story that people used to make their idols out of dates and out of other things, and then when they used to get hungry they used to eat them as well. But in reality it's no different to now. The manifestation now is different, because today you will find very few people, for example, believing in idols the way that they used to believe in that time. But now we have different kinds of idols. Nowadays we have different kinds of idols. Those idols are the idols of materialism. Those are the idols of materialism that people are attached to, which are taking them away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever they might be, for some people it's video games, and for some people it's, some kind of sport. And these are all the idols that we have created that are obstructing us from getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the manifestation of it is different, but the reality is the same. So in reality, when the Prophet ﷺ came and he preached the people the message of Tawheed, when he was saying La ilaha, he was saying that you have to reject all these false gods, whether it's those physical idols that you prostrate in front of, or it's these idols that are created in my mind and in my heart, which are preventing me from getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm doing it without even realizing that maybe I am going towards that extreme. So therefore, each and every day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, remind yourself by saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha. I testify that there is no God. None of these things, neither those physical idols, nor these idols that we can't see, but in reality they're also idols. So testify that none of them are God. If it comes between this idol and God, who do I choose? Usually in the majlis people say, for example, all the time for prayer is coming. So we have to finish. Inshallah, I will finish with enough time. But when I'm at home and I'm doing something else, do I have that same urgency that the time of prayer is coming? That is a question I have to ask myself. If I'm consistent, then I have to have that same urgency in each and every place, wherever I am, whether I'm traveling, or I'm at work, or I'm doing something else. Do I have that same urgency that I put my phone down, or I close the TV and go to? If I'm not, then I'm in the risk of going towards that idol, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ashhadu an la ilaha. Say that none of these things are ilah, worthy of being worshipped. But don't then think that everything is open. No. And don't say, that's because there's all these false gods, we don't want to believe in them, so we reject everything. No, illallah. You have to maintain the tawazun, the balance in this belief as well. That neither do you go towards the belief that everything is God, and nor do you go towards this belief that we deny all existence altogether. No, there is worthy of being worshipped, that is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He also demands that first you have to reject all the other gods and then only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recite salawat ala Muhammad. Now in the matter of Tawheed, establishing this tawazun, this balance was relatively easy compared to the next belief, which is adl. In adl, there is a big complexity when it comes to trying to maintain this tawazun, this balance. Why? Because we've got one group of people, they also exist up to today. We have one group of people, they're telling us that everything that happens, God makes us do it. Whatever happens in your life, God made me do it. And they give the proof from the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says, in the verse from Surah Al-An'am, which you all know because it's recited in the second rakat of Ghufayla. وَعِنْدُهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُ إِلَّا هُ وَمَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا. Not even a leaf falls except with His permission. This is a verse of the Holy Quran. So they say that means that when not even a leaf falls without His knowledge, without Him knowing, that means that everything that we do, God made me do it. So now we have this belief on one side. So how does that tally? If God makes me do everything, then how does that match with the belief that God is just? Because if He makes me do everything, then how can He reward me or punish me based on something that I had no choice in the first place? On the other hand, in reaction and in response to this belief, we had another group of people, another group of scholars who came up with the radical idea that no, not only does God not make me do anything, but alayadu billah, He can't do anything. As though He created the universe and now He's retired. He's not involved in the universe in any way. Both of these, by the way, are actual beliefs that are held by scholars in various different schools of thought in Islam. That belief that God makes you do everything is also held as a theological belief. And this belief that God is not involved in my life whatsoever, this is also held. The problem is both of them are inconsistent with the belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. If I believe, if my usul deen is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, then I cannot believe that He makes me do everything. But neither can I believe that He is not capable of being involved in my life either. So luckily, of course, this question was also asked to our seventh holy Imam, Imam Musa ibn Jafar alayhi salatu wasalam. And they asked him, Yabna Rasulullah, son of the Messenger, there are these two beliefs prevalent in theology amongst Muslims. That one group says, God makes you do everything. As though human beings are just robots, that God has programmed us with this programming and we just have to keep on doing or acting in this way without any will or without any volition of our own. And directly opposite to that is the belief that no, whatever a person does is all on him and God is not involved in his life at all. So Imam alayhi salam said to him in response to the first one, he said, if human beings are controlled by God the way that, obviously not in the narration, but the way that we think robots are controlled by the controller, then Imam said, then there's no sense of reward and punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no right to reward or punish a person if that person had no volition in his own actions. What is he rewarding and punishing him for? The fact that God made him do an action? No, that doesn't make any sense. So Imam says this belief is batil. This belief is batil. He says, and then the other belief is that God created us, but now He's not involved in my life whatsoever. Imam alayhi salam said this one is batil as well. He said that belief that God made me do everything, that is batil. That is what? That is ghulu when it comes to justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This belief that He is not involved in my life whatsoever, Imam alayhi salam says this is also batil. So then he said, Ya ibn Rasulullah, then what's the answer? How do we know what is the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Imam alayhi salam replied to him, La jabra wa la tafweed walakin amra bayn al-amrayn. There is a matter in between both of them. So he asked, he said, Ya ibn Rasulullah, how do we know which are the matters in which our life is predetermined and which are the matters in which I have free will? Of course, this is very important to know, because if something in my life is already predetermined, then no matter what I do, I can't change it. But if in something I have free will and I didn't change it, then God will ask me that you had the choice to do something and you didn't do anything. So Imam alayhi salam replied to him. He said to him, the reality is that you should see in the Holy Quran. And this is also very important. Obviously this is not in the narration, but this is also really important. That Aimma alayhi salatu wasalam, whenever they were asked a question, they would always refer to a verse in the Quran. And this is, by the way, this is something that's amazing in and of itself, because everybody's reading the same Quran. Everybody's reading the same Quran. But other people wouldn't find this verse, or they wouldn't understand this verse until the Imam alayhi salam told them that read this verse and this is what it means. Everybody else is reading the same Quran, but they wouldn't find this verse or they wouldn't find this explanation until the Imam alayhi salam told them, pointed it out, that this is what this verse means, even though the verse obviously existed from before. But that's the meaning of the hadith of the Prophet. لَن يَفْتَرِقَ حَتَّى يَرِدَ عَلَيْهِ الْحَوْض. They would never separate from one another. Whenever you ask the Imam a question, he's going to answer you from the Holy Quran. So Imam alayhi salam said to him, said, look in the Holy Quran. Wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you responsible for an action, makes human beings responsible for an action, there you have free will. For example, He makes you responsible about your beliefs. He makes you responsible about doing good deeds. He makes you responsible about being good to your parents. He makes you responsible about such and such thing. In each of these matters you are responsible, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made you responsible for these actions. That means you have free will. There are certain things which Allah has predetermined in your life and He hasn't made you responsible for them. For example, my parents are predetermined. None of us had any say in who our parents are going to be. None of us had any say in who our relatives are going to be. My brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts and all these blood relatives, I had no say. God did not ask me, should I make this person your uncle? Should I make this person your brother? Should I make this person your parents? No. Therefore, He doesn't make me responsible. Yes, I have responsibilities towards them, but I'm not responsible for them, because I had no say in them being determined. There's certain things about my physical makeup which are determined. My skin color, my hair color, my eye color, all these things are determined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He didn't ask me what these should be, for example. or the makeup of my body. These all things are determined. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He will judge you on the basis of what He has, the abilities and capabilities that He has given you. So you will not be questioned about these things, because they're already determined. But yes, when it comes to actions, when it comes to beliefs, when it comes to doing things in one's life, then I'll be questioned, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Now there might be something which is determined and there is free will in it at the same time. There it becomes a bit challenging. But if we use an example, this story is very famous, I'm sure that all of you have heard it before. But it highlights to us that something can be determined and have free will at the same time. One day, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam is passing by. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He's on a journey, he passes by a masjid. He stops, comes down from his camel, and he wants to go inside to pray. So he looks around, he sees there's a person standing outside. He says to this person that, take care of my camel, I'm going inside to pray. He goes inside, he's offering his prayer. Whilst he's offering the prayer, this person, his niyat goes in the wrong direction. He decides, he sees this is a valuable saddle which is on this camel, I can sell this saddle. So he takes the saddle off and he goes into the marketplace and sells the saddle. Imam al-Islam comes back. He says to him, where's my saddle? So he says there was no saddle. So not only did he steal, he also lied. Imam al-Salam didn't argue with him. This is not in the story, but it's a valuable lesson. That he's taught us that you shouldn't argue with everyone. And when you shouldn't argue with everyone, then you shouldn't fight with everyone. You should only argue with those people who have at least the same level of understanding as you. This person, there's no point of arguing with him. Imam al-Salam doesn't say anything to him. He goes into the marketplace. He sees that his saddle, which was a little while earlier on his camel, is hanging there. So he asks that person, he says to him that this saddle that you have hanging there, I want to purchase it, I want to buy it. So he says that somebody just came to me and sold it to me for 1 dinar. So you can have it for 1 dinar. Imam al-Islam buys his own saddle again. And then he says to his companions that I had intended to give this person 1 dinar for taking care of my camel. I had intended to give ujrat 1 dinar to this person for taking care of my camel whilst I went inside to pray. This person didn't wait. So he committed 2 sins. That he stole my saddle, then he lied, but the amount of risk was fixed. Amount 1 dinar was fixed. He received the 1 dinar. If he had waited and taken it from me, it would have been halal. But because he didn't wait, he committed 2 sins and it became haram for him. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. The amount is fixed. How do I get it? That is up to me. So that's a valuable lesson that's related to my own life. That I think, if I leave this job because I'm having to commit haram, then what's going to happen to my... No, this one does it, the amount is fixed. If I believe that risk is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I know that my amount is fixed. Yes, I might have to do something differently to make sure that it is halal, but the amount is fixed. No matter what I do, the amount that I'm going to receive is going to be the same, irrespective of whether I think that if I do this haram action, maybe I'll get more risk. No. Whatever I'm going to receive is going to be the same. That is up to me whether I want to get it from halal or haram. Now, we mentioned, obviously we're running out of time, so we mentioned quickly the next two usulity. That here's the balance. That here, neither is there free will in its entirety, nor is everything determined. No, some things are determined, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not ask you. But those things which are not determined, where there is free will, then yes, God will question me and ask me that no, He will not ask me just like in this story. He's not going to ask me, how much did you have? He's going to ask me, how did you get it? And what did you do with what you had? That, because that which I'm going to get is fixed. So He's not going to question me, how much did you have? But He is going to ask me, how did I get it and how did I spend it? Then we come, third usulity, nabuwat. In this usulity we also have these two extremes. One extreme, that there are people who rejected the messengers. They said there's no need for messengers. Right? And nowadays, this is a big thing. Some people say, for example, a common thing that goes on social media, in university, young people discussing. They say, okay, in some ancient time, 7th century, you needed people to come and tell you what to do. Well, now we're in 2025. Now you don't need anybody to tell you what to do. Now human beings have progressed. Religion was for some ancient time where people did not understand how the world operates, how the world works. That's why you had religion. Now everybody knows and everybody understands and human beings have progressed to a level where they understand how the world works. So they don't need to have people coming and teaching them and preaching them about how the world works, because they already know. So what's the need for having messengers? What's the need for having prophets? And on the opposite side, we had people who believed in all kinds of people as messengers. A long list of false claimants to prophethood. Both of these extremes are for people to save themselves from and find that no, it is not the fact that anybody who claims to be a prophet, that person is a prophet. Anybody who claims that they can do some things or they have been given divine knowledge, but neither does that mean that I deny and reject every single person, even the people whom truly are prophets from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, how do I identify this balance? Because of the fact that false claimants are prevalent. Some people decided that, because there's so many false prophets, that means we should just deny prophets altogether. Because there's so many people who are falsely claiming this claim, so just deny them altogether. No. That is an overreaction to the fact that there are false prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, yes, we don't want you to believe every single person who claims to be a prophet. But we don't want you to deny that there are prophets who have been sent. And very simple example of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the prophets. If we look at the human development today, we think that we are in the post-industrial, post world. Post everything. 25 years ago, a guy wrote a book saying this is the end of history. There's no system that's going to come after that. And then 15 years after that, he had to write another book saying, no, I was wrong. This is not the end of history. This system is also going to impending collapse. So in the post world, we don't need to have, all these things. Anything that needs to be discovered and anything that needs to be known, we've discovered it and we know it. Of course, even after that we realize that no, that's not the end. Knowledge is something that's still progressing. But everything that human beings have made and created are what? Every single gadget and every single machine and every single thing that human beings have created. How long do they benefit us? Every gadget and every machine and every product that human beings have created, human mind has created, as great and as wonderful as it is, how long does it benefit me? As long as I'm alive, it's going to benefit me. The moment that I die, no machine is going to come and help me. No gadget is going to help me. No phone is going to help. Nothing is going to help me. No machine has been created by human beings which are going to help me the moment that I die until the day of judgment. If there's anything or anyone who's going to help me from the moment that I die till the day of judgment, is one who's been sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to understand that yes, the prophets have been sent to make your lives in this life better, but not just this life. In that life which is eternal, no machine is going to help you, no gadget is going to help you. If anyone's going to help you, it's going to be Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. If anyone's going to help you, it's going to be Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Therefore, we reject that every single person who claims to be a prophet, that person is a prophet. No. There has to be clear proofs. That is what was mentioned in the beginning of the verse. There has to be clear proofs that this person is a prophet. But once we recognize that that person is the prophet, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants and demands unconditional obedience from that person. Unconditional. No questions. I have no right to question once I have identified that he is the Prophet of God. My time is run out. Inshallah, we'll continue this from tomorrow. I have to do unconditional surrender. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made his representatives ma'soom so that people can do this unconditional surrender with confidence. Otherwise, how can I unconditionally surrender in front of somebody who I think is going to make a mistake? The representative of God being ma'soom is a necessity so that I unconditionally surrender in front of him. That I have confidence that every single thing that he is telling me, it is only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. बस जाने मोहतरम मेरे 2-3 मिनट रह गए जिसके अंदर बात को समेट करके तमाम कर देना. मिलके एक सलवात पढ़े मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद. दीन नाजिल हुआ इंसान को जिंदगी में तवाज़ुन कायम करने के लिए, और अल्लाह के नुमाइंदा इंसान को हर इफ़रात और तफरीत, हर गुलू और तकसीर से बचा करके नुक्ते तवाज़ुन पर लेकर आना चाहता है. और इसी तवाज़ुन को कायम करने के लिए फ़र्ज़ंद रसूल अपना घर छोड़ करके करबला में आ गए हैं, और फ़कत तन्हा करबला में नहीं आए. तन्हा करबला में नहीं आए, बल्कि हर एक रास्ते में ये पूछ रहा है, ये सवाल कर रहा है, आप बीवियों को लेकर के, बच्चों को लेकर क्यों आ रहे हैं? ये तो जब हुसैन अपनी जान करबला के मैदान में दे देंगे तब लोगों को पता चलेगा, तब समझ में आएगा कि आप बीवियों को लेकर के, आप बच्चों को लेकर के क्यों आए. जवाब देते हैं, मेरे जद रसूलुल्लाह ने फरमाया है कि हम तुम्हें कत्ल होता हुआ देखना चाहते हैं, इन्हें असीर होता हुआ देखना चाहते हैं. अजरुकुम मिनल्लाह. अल्लाह आपको किसी गम में न रुलाए सिवाय गम अहले बैत के. ये वो अय्याम हैं जिन अय्याम में अहले हरम ने मकसद हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम को जिंदा रखा है. बस अजीज़ों, मैंने 2 से 3 मिनट के अंदर आपकी ज़हमत को तमाम कर देना है. आपने गिरिया किया, खुदा आपके अज़ा को कबूल फरमाए. 2 से 3 मिनट के अंदर बात को तमाम कर देना. कूफे और शाम के दरमियान रस्ते के अंदर ایک مقام پر اہل حرم کے قافلے کو یزیدی لشکر نے روکا. جب یزیدی لشکر نے اس مقام پر روکا تو وہ مقام تھا کہ جہاں پر ایک نصارہ کا عبادت گاہ تھی. اور جیسے ہی وہ یزیدی لشکر نے جو نیزے سروں پر نیزے تھے اور ان نیزوں کو ایک طرف رکھ کر کے اور کھانا کھانے کے لیے بیٹھے تو دیکھا کہ ایک ہاتھ برآمد ہوا اور اس ہاتھ نے دیوار کے اوپر کچھ لکھنا شروع کیا. اس ہاتھ نے دیوار کے اوپر لکھا کہ یہ کیسے مسلمان ہیں, یہ کیسے رسول کی امت ہیں جو اس کے نواسے کو قتل کرتے ہیں اور اس کی شفاعت کی امید رکھتے ہیں. اس کے نواسے کو قتل کرتے ہیں, اس کے گھر والوں کو اسیر کرتے ہیں اور اس کی شفاعت کی امید رکھتے ہیں. دوبارہ وہ متوجہ ہوئے اس ہاتھ کی طرف, پھر کھانا کھانے لگے. پھر اس ہاتھ نے لکھا کہ یاد رکھو کہ دنیا اور آخرت میں پچھتانا پڑے گا اس کی سبب. یاد رکھو دنیا اور آخرت میں پچھتانا پڑے گا اس کے سبب. اس عبادت گاہ کے اندر ایک شخص ہے, وہ نکل کر کے آتا ہے. وہ کہتا ہے کہ یہ بتاؤ کہ یہ کون ہے جو یہ اسیر تم لے کر کے آئے؟ تو وہ کہتے ہیں کہ ہمارے خلیفہ کے خلاف کچھ لوگوں نے خروج کیا تھا, ہم نے انہیں قتل کر کر کے ان کے عورتوں اور بچوں کو اسیر کیا ہے. کہا وہ جس نے خروج کیا تھا اس کا کیا نام تھا؟ کہا اس کا نام حسین تھا. کہا حسین کون؟ کہا علی کا بیٹا حسین. وہ کہنے لگے کیا یہی فاطمہ کا بیٹا حسین ہے؟ وہ نصارہ راہب پوچھ رہا ہے کہ کیا یہ فاطمہ کا بیٹا حسین ہے؟ کہا فاطمہ کا بیٹا حسین ہے. کہا وائے ہو تجھ پر, اگر عیسیٰ کا کوئی بیٹا ہوتا, اگر عیسیٰ کا کوئی بیٹا ہوتا تو ہم اتنی عزت کرتے اس کو اتنا مقام دیتے, اور تم نے اپنے نبی کی بیٹی کے بیٹے کو قتل کر دیا. کہا پیسے لے لو مجھ سے جتنے چاہیے, بس یہ جو پہلا نیزے پر سر ہے مجھے دے دو. یہ سر جو نیزے پہ ہے یہ مجھے دے دو. اس نے رات بھر کے لیے سر حسین کو اپنی عبادت گاہ میں رکھا. جتنے لوگ وہاں موجود تھے سب کہتے تھے کہ ساری رات اس جگہ سے نور صادر ہوتا رہا جہاں پر جس مقام پر سر سید الشہداء کو رکھا, جس مقام پر سر سید الشہداء کو رکھا گیا تھا. جب صبح ہو گئی تو رات میں اس نے کلمہ پڑھا. کہا فرزند رسول میں گواہی دیتا ہوں کہ خدا کے علاوہ کوئی اللہ نہیں ہے, لائق عبادت نہیں ہے, محمد اس کے رسول ہے, میں ایمان لاتا ہوں, آپ گواہی دیجئے گا. صبح نمودار ہو گئی تو وقت ہو گیا تھا. وہ سر حسین واپس لے کر آیا. کہا یہ ایسا سر ہے جس سے اتنا نور صادر ہو رہا ہے, اس سر کو صندوق میں رکھا جائے, نیزے پر بلند نہ کرنا. ہائے لیکن اس کی ایک بات نہ سنی گئی. دوبارہ سر حسین نیزے پر بلند ہوا, قافلہ آگے چلا. الا ولعنۃ اللہ علی القوم الظالمین وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. انا للہ وانا الیہ راجعون. ماتم حسین.
کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ یہی تو ہے درس کربلا، یہی تو ہے درس کربلا، ہم کو دے رہے ہیں جو ایمان، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ مثل غازی قاسم جری، مثل غازی قاسم جری، جانوار نے کا پھر حکام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی قیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ حق کے واسطے ڈٹے رہو، حق کے واسطے ڈٹے رہو، یہ مجاہدوں کا ہے پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ بیعت یزیدیت نہ ہو، بیعت یزیدیت نہ ہو، جرت حسین کو سلام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ ماتم حسین ہو صدا، ماتم حسین ہو صدا، جرتوں کے ساتھ ہو کلام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ حق کا دور حق ہی چھائے گا، حق کا دور حق ہی چھائے گا، آ رہا ہے مہدوی نظام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ ہر یزید عصر جان لے، ہر یزید عصر جان لے، تیری سازشوں کا اختتام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ رہبر دی ہم ہیں منتظر، رہبر دی ہم ہیں منتظر، حکم دیجئے کریں قیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ مہزت حسین علی دی، مہزت حسین علی دی، کرنی ہے بپا ہر ایک گام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام، کربلا کا ہے یہی پیام، ظلم کے خلاف ہو قیام۔ یا حسین 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 عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، اے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، اے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، رستہ بنا رہی ہے بنت علی کا فیضا کانٹے ہٹا ہٹا کے، عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، پردیس میں کسی پر ایسا نہ وقت آئے نامحرموں میں کوئی یوں بیردا نہ جائے، کرتے ہیں یہ دعائیں اہل حرم کے بچے چولی اٹھا اٹھا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، بھائی بہن کی آنکھیں نم ہوتی جا رہی ہیں، بنت علی کی سانسیں کم ہوتی جا رہی ہیں، خنجر چلا رہا ہے زینب کے دل پہ ظالم خنجر دکھا دکھا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، ایک بچی کہہ رہی ہے آؤ مدد کو بابا، دادی کی طرح میں بھی اب ہو گئی ضعیفہ، زخمی کیا ہے پہلو ناکے سے ظالموں نے مجھ کو گرا گرا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے، ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا
دکھا کے. پردے میں بھی جو بی بی چلتی نہ تھی زیادہ, پردیس میں اب پر آیا ہے وقت کیسا. لائے ہیں شام والے ان شاہزادیوں کو پیدل چلا چلا کے. ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. وہ شامیوں کے تانے وہ مسکراتے چہرے بے پردہ ساتھ اپنے بنت علی کو لے کے. سجاد کیسے بھولے اس بھیڑ سے گزرنا نظریں جھکا جھکا کے. ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. اے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. جاتے ہیں جس طرف بھی اہل حرم کھلے سے, کھاتی ہے پہلے درا کھاتی ہے پہلے پتھر, اپنے لہو میں تر ہے زہرا کی بیٹیوں کو فیضا بچا بچا کے. ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. زخموں کی وہ تکلم تعداد جانتے ہیں, مہدی کو بھی خبر ہے سجاد جانتے ہیں. مارے ہیں کس نے کتنے حیدر کی لاڈلی کو پتھر اٹھا اٹھا کے. ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے. یا حسین 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 یا حسین. ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین. ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین. میرا مظلوم حسین. ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین. ہائے مظلوم حسین. اسب عاشور میرا لال بڑا پیاسا ہے. ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین. ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین. میرا مظلوم حسین. یہ محمد کا نواسا ہے علی کا بیٹا. کیا خطا ہے میرے بیٹے کی بتاؤ تو ذرا. ظالموں کیوں اسے بے جرم و خطا گھیرا ہے. ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے تنہائی کا عالم کے کوئی باس نہیں ہائے قاسم نہیں اکبر نہیں عباس نہیں یا علی آؤ میرا لال بڑا تنہا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین عصر عاشور میرا لال بڑا پیاسا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ایک دن میں بڑے لشکر کا بھی غم دیکھا ہے اس نے عباس کا اکبر کا بھی غم دیکھا ہے دفن کر کے علی اصغر کو ابھی آیا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین عصر عاشور میرا لال بڑا پیاسا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے چلنی ہے جگر پھر بھی نہیں رویا ہے کتنے دن سے تو میرے لال نہیں سویا ہے آ میری گود میں سو جا تو بہت جاگا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین عصر عاشور میرا لال بڑا پیاسا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے تنہائی کا عالم کے کوئی پاس نہیں ہائے قاسم نہیں اکبر نہیں عباس نہیں یا علی آؤ میرا لال بڑا تنہا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین عصر عاشور میرا لال بڑا پیاسا ہے ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین ہائے مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین میرا مظلوم حسین
Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, inshallah we will have Salat al-Maghrib at 8:16 sharp. At this time, if you could please begin to make the rows if you don't have to do wudu. And we will have volunteers distribute the turbas. Thank you.